An IP address is a numeric address. It's an identifier for a computer or device on a network. Every device has to have an IP address for communication purposes. The IP address consists of two parts. The first part is the network address, and the second part is the host address. There are also two types of IP addresses. The first one is the most common one. It's called IP version 4. And the second type is IP version 6. IP version 4 is the current version of IP addresses. It's a 32-bit numeric address written as 4 numbers separated by periods. Each group of numbers that are separated by periods is called an octet. The number range in each octet is 0 to 255. This address version can produce over 4 billion unique addresses. IP address 4 is made up of 4 sets of 8 binary bits, and these sets are called octets. The bits in each octet are represented by a number. So starting from the left, the first bit has a value of 128, then 64, then 32, and so on, all the way down to 1. Each bit on the octet can be either a 1 or a 0. If the number is a 1, then the number that it represents counts. If the number is a 0, then the number that it represents does not count. So, by manipulating the 1s and the 0s in the octet, you can come up with a range from 0 to 255. So for example, the first octet in this IP address is 66. So how do we get a binary number out of 66? First, you look at the octet chart, and you would put 1s under the numbers that would add up to the total of 66. So you would put a 1 in the 64 slot. So now you already have 64, so we need 2 more. So let's put a number 1 in the 2 slot. So now if we count all the numbers that we have 1s underneath them, you would get a total of 66. All of the other bits would be 0s, because we don't need to count them since we already have our number. So this number here is the binary bit version of 66. So we'll put that number down here. So let's do the next number, which is 94. So let's put a 1 under 64, 16, 8, 4, and 2. So if we were to add all the numbers that we have 1s underneath them, we would get a total of 94. And since we don't want to count any of the other numbers, we just put 0s under the rest. So the next number is 29. So let's put a 1 under 16, 8, 4, and 1. And when you add all the numbers up, you get 29. And our last number is 13. So let's select 8, 4, 1, and when you add those up, you get 13.